Good morning, conservation voters. Thank you so much for being here. Pramila, thank you for the fierceness of resistance and intellect and smarts you bring to the other Washington on our behalf. Thank you so very much for being with us this morning to wake us up, get us inspired, keep us focused. Everyone, good morning. My name is Mello, and I have the great privilege of serving as a member of the Tacoma City Council. Give it up for Tacoma, City of Destiny. You know, I'd ask everyone to just take a moment, pause, and think about why do you stand up, why do you wake up so damn early for this breakfast? What is the thing that inspires you to be here and to be generous and to keep fighting? Is it the future that we want to leave our kids, perhaps your kids, your grandkids? Maybe it's the hiking you do with your kids, or the fishing, or the shellfish gathering. Perhaps maybe what wakes you up every morning and to be here and to fight. Maybe it's to turn the tide and reverse the kind of statistics like we see in Tacoma, where 1 in every 8 days, a kid is hit by a car walking or biking to school. And reversing that trend, I think, is worth getting up in the morning. Perhaps, and you know, where that happens disproportionately is in communities of color and low-income communities, disproportionately. Perhaps what wakes you up in the morning and gets you to step up and be generous today is the excitement that is in front of us about a clean energy future and the prosperity and the thousands of jobs that's going to be harvested because of that future we're going to get together. I think all the time about the times that have inspired me to wake up and do this work every single day. And you know, I hearken back to 2 experiences in my life regularly. They go back to my childhood, growing up in Hawaii, spending time, winters and summers, with my grandparents. My grandparents immigrated from Portugal, and they went there to work in the sugar plantation, then bought a ranch and became cattle ranchers. And I had the real honor of spending my summers and winters with my grandfather on the cattle ranch, actually in his Toyota pickup, roaming the hills of Mauna Kea. Anyone who's been to the Big Island of Hawaii knows the majestic landscape of Mauna Kea. Literally, my grandfather would talk to the cows. He'd name the cows. We would ride around. Very memorable for me. Learned a lot about what it's like to actually run a real-life farm. Fast forward a few years, in high school, I participated with hundreds of others to stop a development across the street from the world-famous Sunset Beach. This development would have turned the beautiful hillside across the street from Sunset Beach to several dozen single-family large lots, and done in such a way that the runoff would cloud and kill that reef in Sunset Beach forever. And also that sprawl would have caused major traffic disruption and forever change the rural character of the North Shore of Hawaii. We organized, we testified, we rallied, we met with Honolulu City Council members, and we stopped that development and saved the North Shore. So fast forward about 8 years. It's worth clapping about. Fast forward about 8 years, and that is when I first met Washington conservation voters. As I was working as a campaign manager for a legislative race for a conservation champion in Tacoma. WCV trained us with an intensive 2-day training, and as a priority campaign, WCV sent volunteers to doorbell with us every weekend, make phone calls, and get our voters out to vote. That was in 2002. Then 2 years later, in 2004, another WCV champion I got to work on, we got the amazing Congressman Derek Kilmer elected to the State House, and here he is representing us in Congress today. I think that was a wise investment that WCV made in 2004. What do you think? So today, friends, I have the honor today of serving the people of Tacoma and our city council WCV helped get me elected to begin with, and today helped me move forward our collective agenda of clean air, clean water, and healthy lands. We've increased transit service in Tacoma by 40%. We've passed aggressive greenhouse gas reduction targets and a clear plan to match that goal. We have a goal of increasing our tree canopy throughout the city. Today it's 11%. We have a real goal that's funded to get us to 30% tree canopy by the year 2030. We have a goal, an aggressive goal of diverting 70% of our waste from our landfill by 2025. And friends, we're on the verge of banning new fossil fuel facilities and current fossil fuel facilities from expanding in the Port of Tacoma right around the corner. These are just some of our victories we've been able to achieve since I've been able to serve on the Tacoma City Council and since WCV has had my back. Not one of these victories would have been possible without Washington conservation voters. What's in common with my experience stumbling my way through activism as a high schooler in Hawaii, doing my small part to help protect the iconic Sunset Beach, and also my experiences today in stopping fossil fuel efforts in Tacoma, and all of our advances to make Tacoma more walkable, more transit-oriented, and healthy. What's in common? It took strategic, energetic, and effective organization to make those wins happen. I guarantee you, as someone fighting from the inside now, none of these would happen without the Washington conservation voters. WCV gets champions trained and elected to supporting them and move our agenda of healthier communities, and they also galvanize the political will. The political will for thousands of you all across the state to have my back and to have the back of people like me who are willing to stick our necks out and win those victories for the next generation. So that's what WCV does every day in communities across Washington, and that's what WCV has done for me personally, and I'm truly grateful for it, and I'm convinced that we would never be successful without it. So friends, as you know full well, and you heard firsthand from Pramila, these are challenging times at the federal, state, and local level. I don't have to tell you that. So while I'll leave it to Pramila and Derek and Susan to have that plan for us to overcome those disastrous policies of the federal administration, I don't have a plan for you to overcome those disastrous policies at the federal level. I do have a plan for you in the state of Washington and communities like mine in Tacoma to live the future that we know we deserve. That plan is to invest in WCV today. Quite seriously, your investment in WCV will dictate if we are able to ban current fossil fuel facilities from expanding and any new facilities from ever setting up shop ever again in Tacoma, Washington. It will dictate whether we keep our perfect 10-0 streak of denying new coal and oil facilities up and down the Washington coast. Investing in WCV will dictate whether we keep making progress in improving the health of Puget Sound, and it will dictate whether we keep making progress in building a course to avert our climate crisis and save the amazing landscapes from sprawl that make up our most beautiful Pacific Northwest. So that's the potential. Those are the wins that are right in front of us. They are worth waking up early for, and they are certainly worth investing in. So today, as a fellow conservation voter with all of you, I'm not asking you to go tango personally with the fossil fuel facilities, though if you want to, we have a public hearing on October 17th in Tacoma to do just that. Today, I'm asking you to stand up and step up by giving generously to Washington conservation voters so that we can have the resources to tango and fight effectively and strategically. So table captains, this is your moment. If you haven't done so already, there's the manila envelope in the middle of your table. Today you can give by one of two ways. You can go old school, and you can fill out the form that's going to be passed out with a pen. Go old school all the way. But we've also have a different way of you giving this year to be a little quicker and easier. You can give your donation by texting the number that's on the screen, 52866. If you're like me and maybe just started doing this, maybe just a couple of months ago, you put that number, 52866, just like you were going to dial a phone number, right in the place where you would put that phone number or that name of that individual. You put 52866. Oh, don't listen to me, read the screen. 52886. And then in the text, the message you would send would be WCV breakfast. Today we want to raise $218,000 for Washington Conservation Voters' work. Walking into here this morning, we've raised $125,000 thanks to our generous sponsors and the hard fundraising done walking into here. That means we have $93,000 to raise together. To help spur us along, we certainly have a group of generous supporters who have come together to encourage everyone, every single one at every single one of these tables to make a gift today. I ask for 100% participation today and ask all of us to invest in Washington Conservation Voters. So I ask you to stand up for these threats. Our generous donors who will be matching these gifts will be matching them in one of three ways. This morning's, your gift will be matched if you give $125 a month. Also, gifts of $500 will be matched, dollar for dollar. And every single new gift, if you are a new donor to WCV this morning, no matter what the amount is, it will be matched dollar for dollar, thanks to generous donors. I want to recognize our Earth Angels in the room. Earth Angels are WCV's most generous financial supporters, giving at least $1,000 or more to WCV each year. We have at least 60 Earth Angels in the room. Earth Angels, where are you? We really want to thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your generosity. So you too can join these Earth Angels by making a monthly contribution at the $84 a month level. But for those who either sign up today at $125 a month or you increase your monthly gifts to $125 a month, those gifts will be matched. Monthly donors are incredibly important to WCV to have the resources planned to take those strategic steps that we need to take, that you've heard Shannon lay out all across this state. So in closing, I want to thank you for being generous. Thank you for giving today to invest in Washington Conservation Voters and this future that is all very worth waking up for and very worth fighting like hell for. Have a great breakfast. Let's go out and win. Thank you, everybody.